again, everybody. The History Guy here. Well, with the final season of Game of Thrones starting this Sunday, and I'm pretty excited about that, like I know a lot of you are. I thought I would do something Game of Thrones themed, but stick with a game that I know and that many of you have followed on this channel. So we're going to play the Ice and Fire mod. I forget exactly what it's called. Let's go back and look real quick. But this is the Game of Thrones mod for Hearts of Iron 4. And I thought I'd take a really interesting spin on it. And so what we're going to do is we are going to take on the role of the others, the Night King. I am going to bring winter to the land. I am going to conquer everybody with the undead. So it's going to be challenging. I've only played this mod a limited number of times. And usually I've played as House Stark, which normally is what I think I would want to do. But I thought it would be cool to do something different, especially since this last season of Game of Thrones focuses so heavily on what's happening with the Night King. So if you're not familiar with Game of Thrones, my apologies in advance. I'm operating under the assumption that most of you do, at least know a little bit about it. So this will be a limited series, probably only a few episodes. Because especially as the Night King, there's not a lot to do early in the game, so there won't be a lot to show you, but we're going to dive into this thing, and of course this is my territory right here. We're going to play on regular difficulty as I usually do with Hearts of Iron 4, so just to let you know up front, you're pretty limited as far as what you can do as the undead, as the Night King, because at the beginning you have no factories, you only have 450 free manpower, and there's really none extra to gain, and there's no ability to produce anything. I have no civilian or military factories, so this has to be done in a very different way. And you'll see even with the national focus, you can't even complete the first national focus until world tension reaches 20%. Now, as far as I can figure, if I start justifying war against 3 of my neighbors, that should drive it over 20%, but it's going to take some time to get the political power to the point where I can do that. So we're not necessarily going to see a lot of the world events going on because I'm the Night King, so I'll let you know as things unfold what's happening, but basically this is what it looks like. Once we get world tension to 20%, we can do White Walkers Awaken, which I think it'll just bypass at that point. And then we can start actually doing some things like here, Army of the Dead gives me a recruitable population of 80%. So that'll start getting me some population. This will get me 1 military factory as well as 7,500 infantry units. And then some of these other things. So once I get all of this stuff, then I can start invading, start spreading, and we'll see how it goes. All right, here's our first world event. Serious allegations were directed at King Robert's eldest son, Joffrey, during a parliamentary meeting earlier today. This has dealt a serious blow to the king's authority, while Queen Cersei Lannister has openly called this a ploy of Ned Stark to oust the Lannisters from the royal court. Yeah, that's not what it is. You're sleeping with your brother, Cersei. So yeah, there's that. Alright, I'm not sure if I've got the political power to justify 3 wars yet, but I think I'll probably be getting close. So we're going to go ahead and start justifying these wars, not with the aim of actually going to war, since I don't actually have an army, but with the idea of driving up world tension. There it is. We've hit over 23%, so White Walkers Awaken. Now we can start doing some things here. I think we will go with the factory first, just so we can get a head start on actually producing a little bit of weapons. And then we're going to go ahead and cancel these justifications. There we go. That brings it back down to 10%. Let's take a look and see. House Stark is revisiting the Three Sisters issue, and those are and House Greyjoy has threat from action. So those are the things that are driving up tension right now. Okay, there's Arm the Whites. Now we've got a military factory. Now we need some manpower. So let's get Army of the Dead going. Let's start producing a little bit of infantry equipment. Of course, now we have insufficient resources because we don't produce anything either. So But that's not how the Army of the Dead operates. So this is not a traditional way of building an army and of invading other people. So looks like we've got the infantry equipment now. We just don't have the manpower, which is what we're working on now. Decisions available. I'm not sure that really matters a whole lot. We'll get our division attack rating up. I am actually doing some research on infantry equipment. Not that any of that matters a whole lot for my role. Let's see what everybody else is up to. So we've got Robb Stark in charge over here. He's demanding Sisterton. Of course, his father, I would assume, is still alive, but he's down in King's Landing as the Hand of the King now. Robert Baratheon's still alive as well, so none of the events that kind of precipitated the War of the Seven Kingdoms has happened yet. But there, we are up to 14% on world tension, mostly generated by the Starks right now. Okay, there's Army of the Dead. We should actually get some people now to start populating an army. I'm going to deal with all of these before I start going after invasions of other territory. Let's gather zombie food. All right, we've got 80% now on eligible core population, but that's still not really gaining me men very fast. I'm only up to 473 in my army. We have gathered zombie food. We've also completed our first research. Not that any of that's going to happen very fast. But let's go with ice weapons. Wild spies is the only thing we have left. I think we'll go with ice weapons, and then we'll start invading. We've got a couple of choices. Frozen Shore or Cannibal Bay. So there's Cannibal Bay over here. Frozen Shore's on this side, so we get our choice on which one. All right, House Stark announces alliance with House Tully. Calling upon the bonds forged during Robert's rebellion, the two great houses have declared a formal alliance with the intent of maintaining stability within Westeros. With the new Northern Kingdoms Union officially ratified, observers, I guess, are now left wondering if there will be anyone capable of standing up to the combined forces of the North and the Riverlands. Well, I'm going to do just that, but not until the time comes. Okay, there's ice weapons. I don't know if wild spies is something necessary. Gain national spirit animal spies, which grants decryption 75. Okay, I can see the benefit of that before we go invading other people. We'll be able to see exactly what these armies contain. Let's see what's happening in the rest of the world. So here's the Northern Kingdoms Union with House Stark and House Tully. The Starks are puppeting the Boltons. That's what they're working on right now. I'm going to gain another big boost to research speed. Not that it necessarily helps me a whole lot. I want to know what's going on in the Crown Lands. Alright, so he's still alive. Nothing has happened with that to kind of kick off war down there. I would imagine it's got to happen at some point. Oh, here it comes. Oh, the House Stark has declared war on House Bolton. Good, take them out. So it looks like the Karstarks must be in on this with House Stark. So that'll probably go fairly quickly. The Boltons will be done for. Sorry, Roose Bolton. Bye-bye. So let's take a look at that war just so I can get an idea of what we're dealing with as far as manpower goes. It looks like the combined armies of Tully, Stark, Karstark, and Mormont have somewhere around 600 to 700,000 men. Bolton, of course, only has about 100,000 on his own, so they're losing very quickly. That war's not going to last long at all. Probably by the time I get my national focus done, that war will be done as well. Yeah, Northern Kingdoms have only lost 15,000 men. They've inflicted 83,000 casualties. So that went really, really well for them. All right, National Focus Wild Spies is done. We're going to invade the Frozen Shore. It's going to take 140 days. House Frey just declared war on House Tully, so it's getting going now. And of course, same thing here. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but once the Starks get their men down there, I think they'll deal with Walder Frey pretty easily. Let's see what that war looks like, though. Actually, that kept the Boltons alive, it would seem. So still, combined manpower, nothing to worry about really for those northern kingdoms together, so I think they'll handle that just fine. All right, so the Boltons were puppeted. House Frey and House Tully have signed a white peace, which apparently means the House Frey is going to stay alive, at least for the time being. Interesting that the regular War of the Seven Kingdoms isn't kicking off, so whoever had that decision to make apparently did not make it, at least not yet. So in the meantime, we're just seeing these other little fights going on. Hopefully they'll go to war against each other, because I need them all fighting each other while I just kind of silently creep down from the north. Okay, here we go. King Robert I Baratheon passes away. Today, the entirety of Westeros is mourning the passing of King Robert Baratheon. Sadly, before all visitors to the Sept of Baelor even had the chance to say their final farewells, controversy has already risen. His eldest son, Joffrey Baratheon, is not yet of age and would require a regent to rule in his place. A lot of higher-ups in the government were under the impression that those duties would be given to Robert's wife, Cersei Lannister, but by his own request, that role was instead given to his close friend, Eddard Stark. Though Lord Stark of Winterfell has already stated that he hopes to maintain peace within the Seven Kingdoms, there's already a vocal minority within the government that claims he is seeking to take the throne from Joffrey. Yeah, not really, but that's going to be interesting, because right about the time that all goes down, we're going to be taking our first territory by completing this invasion of the Frozen Shore. It's going to give me some other units, and hopefully I'll be able to do this then. I want to see what's going on. I'm surprised that even with that 75% bonus to decryption, I can't see how many units the free folk have. All right, here we go. We're going to get our first units at last. There we go. Invade the Frozen Shore. We've taken the Frozen Shore without a fight. We've got 3 infantry units. We now have an army of 49,000, up from 0. So now we've also got 2 factories. So let's go ahead now and we can revive the Frozen Shore. And that'll give me 10 legions of whites. That's amazing. All right, it's going to start getting interesting now, folks. We've taken our first territory. We actually have somewhat of an army. And we're going to create our army. Oh, here we go. For the first time in several centuries, the island of Leng is once again at war. That's interesting. That's kind of way out there somewhere. Darius, you are my general. He's a sweet-looking dude. You probably remember him if you've seen the show. All right, I don't know what's happening down here, but I'm curious now to see what the Starks are up to. They're building dockyards right now. Let's see what's creating all the world tension. Stannis Baratheon's working on claiming the throne. Targaryens. All right, everybody's going to start kind of dealing with all of that stuff that went down in the actual TV show. All right, another event from the TV show from the books. Viserys Targaryen has been killed by Khal Drogo, and so that's going to kind of begin the rise of Daenerys Targaryen. In the meantime, we're about halfway to reviving the Frozen Shore. It's going to be cool to see the army rise. I'm going to suddenly have a very massive force. All right, there it is. Revive the Frozen Shore. Oh, yeah. What's our army look like now? Now we've got 210,000 in the army. So there's really no reason to even be creating this unit. I'll just use those guys as reinforcements. So there we go. 13 divisions now in my force. We're going to go ahead and get them on the border with the free folk. And now we once again work on, this time, invading Cannibal Bay. So slowly but surely going to push the free folk toward the wall, and then we're going to eventually cross the wall. So this is happening faster, I think, than it did in the TV show or in the books. And I'm fine with that. Hopefully we catch these folks before they can do anything. In light of the recent crown disputes in King's Landing, the 2 brothers, Stannis and Renly of House Baratheon, have joined forces for their common goals. The leader of the Stormlands made the following statement. So, Wow, Renly actually is yielding to Stannis being the one true king, which is not something that happened historically, so to speak. So that's a change. That'll make things more difficult for the folks down here, having a combined Baratheon force. Those are the two brothers of the recently deceased king. Every time we accept Craster's sacrifice, we actually get to choose an area in which we can get a research bonus. All right, the Targaryens are going to start doing their thing over here, start building up a force that they'll eventually hope they'll be able to use to reestablish their kingdom. All right, here we go again. Invaded Cannibal Bay. That means more factories. We're up to 4. I've actually got 2 civilian factories and 2 military factories now. I've also got free manpower, as well as now a 256,000 man army. Time to revive Cannibal Bay, which is going to get 10 more legions of whites. We suddenly are going to have something like a 500,000 man army, which is beautiful. So let's go ahead and get these guys back on the border. And then what's going to happen next after we revive Cannibal Bay is we can wipe out the wildlings, which means we're going to have a claim on the remaining territory. We'll actually have to fight at that point. Then we're going to prepare to breach the wall, prepare to take the north, and then, man, it is on. So I'm excited. We'll see what happens with all of this. Let's go ahead and actually start producing some more military factories with the civilian factories that I have. Not much there, but there's a little bit. At least gives me something to do. And then production. Yep, we'll just keep on doing this. Don't have any steel, so... But that's really not how I'm going to do things. It's not where the source of my power is going to come from. That's going to be from invading other lands. The Free Folk declared war on the Night's Watch. That's interesting. That's mainly because they're trying to get the heck out of Dodge. They know what's coming, and they want to get on the other side of the wall. So while they're doing that, I'm doing my thing, and that war will probably be over before I'm in a position to do anything about them. Okay, we've revived Cannibal Bay. The war between the Night's Watch and the Free Folk, the Wildling Crow War, you can see here it's pretty evenly matched. The Free Folk have slightly more people. They're also losing slightly more, so it's a fairly even one. But now the Free Folk have a problem, and that is me. So let's take a look now at what this looks like. We actually have more men in our army than we can actually handle under one general, but I think we'll be okay for the time being. Let's take a look at this army. We've got 416,000 in the army of the undead now, and we're going to prepare our invasion. I'm going to wipe out the wildlings. It's going to take 70 days, and then that's going to be it for them. All right, House Lannister declared war on the Crown Lands. So the Crown Lands being under Ned Stark right now. So that's actually what we want to see. We want to see that fight happening. We've got the Lannister-Tyrell alliance here. They're going to war against the Crown Lands, which I'm sure is going to bring House Stark into the mix. Meanwhile, we're just going to kind of keep doing our thing from up here. And it seems like that war is still going to be going between the Free Folk and the Night's Watch when I come crashing down upon them in about 2 weeks. All right, here we go. Let's do this. We've got the National Focus wipe out the wildlings. We are going to start... Oh, it doesn't allow me to do that yet. I have to take the territory that I'm about to invade first. So let's go ahead and do that. Now we've actually got to justify first, apparently. I figured I would already have that at that point, but I guess not. Just gives me a claim. Once we justify, we can declare war. Hopefully this fight's still going on, but it's starting to look like the Free Folk are starting to win this thing. Let's see how the Lannister Crown Land War is going. Lannister and Tyrell, wow, they've got 1 million total in their army, but they're losing a lot too. So the Crown Lands, I don't know why the Starks haven't gone in. Free Folk took Castle Black. Man, interesting. Oh, here we go. We've got a decision with 5 power that'll allow me to just go ahead and declare that war. So there we have it. Oh, this is interesting. Now what do we have? We can spawn wildling zombies. Hey, let's do that too. 5 legions of whites will rise up behind enemy lines. Dang, that's cool. Nice. All right, here we go. The Night King reveals himself. Although many believe the others to be a myth designed to frighten little children, the truth has finally come out, led by the mysterious Night King, who's a Stark. Shh, don't tell anyone. The others have already started marching in north, and it's unknown where they will actually stop. Oh, we've got free dockyards now. Interesting. Not that I'm necessarily worried about that right now. The Night's Watch wants us to sign a pact of non-aggression. Nah, I'm good, guys, because I'm coming for you next. Let's see how this is going so far. They really can't kill me, though. I mean, so... I've lost 1,000, but that's not a huge deal. Kind of curious how the other wars are going. Targaryens are not doing well in theirs. Crownlands are doing okay. All the Greyjoys have joined in against the Crownlands. Man, where's the Starks? Why are they not coming to the aid of their father? All right, we've got new infantry equipment available. Not that that matters a whole lot. I'll deal with all of this stuff later on. We've got the Night King, who's a field marshal, in charge of the army now. Wonder if we've taken the territory we need to start this next national focus. Not yet. We need Storald Point. I think that's probably up here. Yep, Hard Home. Boy, that was a great episode. Hard Home. Oh man, look at that. The others have overrun everything north of the wall. Just about. So the war with the Targaryens is over here. Be interesting to see how that all shakes out. Come on, guys. What are we waiting on over here? Let's go take Hard Home. See what's left of the Free Folk army. They've still got 120,000 men in the field. You're welcome, Night's Watch. Not that it's going to help you a whole lot long term. There we go. We got Hard Home. It's going to allow me to proceed with this next national focus. All right, what's going on here? No, I want it all. Yeah, it won't let me take it all. Who declared peace in this war? I sure didn't. Interesting. This is frustrating. All right, we'll figure it out. All right, well, my deepest apologies. You've missed a lot. Occasionally this happens when I'm pressing the button to record. I'm actually stopping recording and vice versa. So I was actually recording the breaks rather than the actual action. So what we've got here is I annexed, after defeating the Night's Watch, I annexed them. And as soon as I did, I kicked off basically a world war where I'm at war with everybody now. And they have kind of come in and taken some of my territory. And so you've missed a lot, but Greyjoy, Tyrell, and Lannister just jumped in on my side in this thing. And now suddenly, rather than being outnumbered something like 2-1, it was like 1,000,000 to 500,000. Now I'm on the side with the majority of the forces. So I think that's actually going to work out to my favor. So I've just got to stabilize things on this line. And it looks like we've got some non-aggression pacts. Oh, Tyrell. Hey, there's Natalie Dormer, pretty much my favorite actress in the world. So yes, I will most definitely join you. Lannister, yeah, we'll join them. So I never thought in a million years I'd see the day when any men would jump in on the side of the White Walkers, but that is indeed what has happened. So we've canceled the breach the wall because we've lost control of that territory. But this is where things stand, and I'm actually going to go ahead and stop right there. Again, my apologies that you missed some of the action, but there's still a lot to be played, and we're going to stabilize things along this border, and obviously now the Starks and their allies have a lot to deal with down here in the south. So let me know your thoughts. Maybe this can turn into a general discussion about Game of Thrones. I know it's not historical, but it certainly is interesting. And I love all things fantasy. I love Game of Thrones. I love Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter even. So let's talk about all that stuff. What are you looking forward to? What do you think is going to happen this season in Game of Thrones? What do you think about this mod? And would you like to see me play more of it or play as another house at some point? Use the comment section below. Please hit that thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll see you again in a few days with the next episode.